Says we're live, so let's go for it,
Are we
guys.
live? Does it say we're live on YouTube? I'm always confused by this. There's always a bit of a lag, I
It
think.
always takes a few moments to
Yeah.
load, but as far as I'm aware, we are live.
Well, hello if we are live. um, yeah, welcome to, I can't remember which week we're in. Usually I do like welcome to week whatever, but I didn't do it the last couple of weeks. So I think it's probably about week 6.
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to week 6 of Younger Youth Live. I like that. We should have a logo. Yeah, today we're talking about friendships. If you don't know who I am, if our audience is growing, please continue sharing with your friends, family, dogs, cats, hamsters. I'm Izzy. I lead the Younger Youth at Love Church when we're normally around. Today we're joined with Toby, who's one of the interns, our youth intern, and Sam Parkin, who's our respected intern at at Love Church, and he's our expert for today.
No,
He's making sure we're actually talking along the right lines about things. But today we're going to be talking about a really, really important topic, especially in COVID situation, friendships. So what are friendships? What does it look like? What does a good friendship look like? What does a bad friendship look like from both, from you being a bad friend to someone else being a not good friend, and all those kind of things. So we'd love you to join us at 7:30 for our Zoom hangout. We will be posting the details in the comments and the description, wherever Toby puts it, later. So we'd love to hang out with you guys. Then we'll be discussing more about that then. But for now, we've got half an hour, well, 28 minutes now that I've chatted too long, to go into this a little bit more and kind of talk about our own experiences, which we think hopefully will be helpful for any of you lot. Don't forget to join us on WhatsApp as well. The link is at lovechurch.org.uk and it's through the online bit there. Can't bother to tell you all of it. Yeah, let's just crack on. So I guess the first question is, why do we have friends? Why? What is that?
Toby, do you want to take it away?
Right, sorry guys, just froze up there for a second. Yeah, so for me, we have friends because for me, I'm going to come across this in a very theological way, but in Genesis, God said that it wasn't okay for man to be alone, so that's why he created Eve to accompany Adam in the garden. It's so man wasn't alone, and we have friendships so we're not alone on this earth and we're not alone in life. And I think we all need a bit of friendship, we all need a bit of loving, and I think we all need some friends.
What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a great verse in Proverbs 27 which says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." And I think that kind of captures some of the kind of best aspects of a friendship. So at its best, friendships, they're fun. You laugh together, you share time together, and share experiences, make memories, but also you support each other when things are difficult, and you help each other grow. So at their best, friendships kind of help us to grow as people, and in the Christian context, as Christians as well.
Definitely, and I'd really like to echo your point about growing each other and challenging each other. I think that's what I love about, honestly, our youth team and going to youth on a Wednesday and a Sunday. Come along, guys, we've got Zooms every day. I think challenging each other on what we're thinking and how we're acting, because obviously we can't control how other people act to us, but we control how we react. So if I react in a bad way, Toby might be like, "Mate, come on," and it might come across to me as like, "Oh no, he doesn't like me anymore," but actually it's coming from a place of love, and that he wants me to grow and to actually be the best I can be. So are you guys good friends?
What, with each other?
Well, just to people in general, are you a good friend?
Am I a good friend?
Well, I mean, Sam's an excellent friend. He's a top.
You're meant to talk about yourself.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Are you a good friend, Toby?
I'd say yeah. I'd say I always look out for people. I'm a people person. I love to please people. I love to really just be there for people. So yeah, if I
I'd
can.
like to challenge you as a friend. Um, so you said you like to please people. Are there situations where this can be actually a bad thing, and actually, therefore, you become a bad friend?
I wouldn't say that. What I mean by this, I like to please people is I like to help people in the ways which would in the way which I think would help them best, and I kind of have like a balanced view as to what might help them, might not, and I generally be quite honest with people because I don't like seeing people. Yeah, I just don't like seeing people being hurt by things. So if it's gonna, hurt them, then I'm trying to think about what I'm saying here, but I want the best for people, so I'd help get the best for the people.
Definitely, I like that, and I think that's definitely a kind of part of being a good friend. For me, like, yeah, I love to please people, and often a lot of things I do come out of trying to please people, and that can actually, what I was trying to get out a little bit more was that actually it has led me into like unhealthy friendships. And whilst we can all cover good friendships, and I think there's a lot of aspects, yeah, like loving each other, being there for each other, and challenging each other, that's like key aspects of being a good friend. But I think there is a point where that everything in moderation, and sometimes for either of us. So I will give my example. So yeah, a couple of years, almost 3 years ago, that's mad, I became friends with someone really quickly, and we like bonded really quickly, like really well. We thought we clicked, it was great, and then like a month in, suddenly the only reason why she was talking to me was because she needed help with certain things. And at first it was like, okay, fair enough, like I'm here for you always, like let's go. But then it slowly became like more and more deep. But then every time we met up, it was just her talking for like 4 hours about her problems and like herself and all this drama that she had. And I'd come away and I just felt so shattered and just like, oh my gosh, like it completely drained me. And she hadn't asked how I was once. And like, yeah, I'm not going into a friendship wanting some like demanding things back. Like not every situation, not every conversation has to be about me or an equal kind of conversation. But at the same time, when every single conversation was about her, and I was so drained from it, like emotionally, not just like physically, but physically definitely. That I was just like, right, okay, this can't be happening anymore. So I had to like break that friendship off. I mean, has like Sam, have you had an example, like an experience? You don't have to give the whole example, but have you had an experience of either an unhealthy friendship, and how have you dealt with that?
Yeah, I think the key point you talking about there is the nature of it being one way, and not being reciprocated. And a lot of these qualities we talk about being the friendship, they have to be coming from both people. And so it may be that, the friend you've got is letting the side down, or it may be something that you need to look at yourself and maybe ask a few questions. I think for me, yeah, I'm trying to think of specific examples, but I can relate to that idea of putting in kind of it's when the other person almost takes things for granted. They assume that you're going to make the effort to initiate things. They may like just turn up and then, kind of like you say, possibly spend more time talking about themselves, or if you don't do anything, then you don't hear from them, or whatever. And I think that may be for different reasons, but it's when these things are repeated and like you say, that one way nature.
Yeah, I think it's the when they only turn up when they need something from you. And yeah, it's not, I don't think that's the only test of a friendship, because sometimes genuinely, like I've got a friend at the moment with COVID, she's really struggling. And she's a really close friend, but she at the moment, because she can't like she's had to segment everything, separate everything in her mind, that she only comes to me when she needs help. And that's absolutely fine, because I know it's coming from a place of she literally just can't talk to anyone, and I'd like anyone about anything, like fun or anything, because she's just in this really dark place. And to be honest, at the moment, I'd much prefer her coming to me only when she needs help than not going to anyone at all. But yeah, it's at the same time, who do I have in my life that I can go to? And yeah, it's a weird kind of balance, I think, of making sure we're not so self-centered that it's like, well, this friend, but at the same time, it's that, but what am I getting? Because if we, you know, how am I benefiting it? It's not like getting something like, here's a gift every time we hang out, here's dinner cooked for you, or that would be great. It's what's filling me with life? Is it life-giving? Would you like to add anything to that, or have we just like spoken at you?
No, not at all. I think so a lot of my friendships in like secondary school, when I was in like year 7, 8 and 9, even up to GCSEs, it was very forced, and like they didn't really do any beneficial, they didn't really benefit me. Like I suppose like the first time I really had friendships where people cared about me were in my A levels and outside of school and outside of college, and that for me that was a normal thing. I think really trying to be the person that fitted in all the time, which I was, it was really hard, and I wanted to fit in with so many different people. I often did things in those friendships, although they weren't really friendships, but we'll call them friendships, it wasn't very beneficial for me, and I actually came off quite badly out of it. And it was stuff I still battle with today, stuff I still deal with today, and it's not great. So
definitely. And I think actually you mentioned year 7 to 9, and this is, you know, younger youth, year 7 to 9, and I think that is a really important and interesting age for friendships. I mean, like none of us are that far away, you know, like we're older, but not that much older, not decades older. I think looking back, I don't know, like year 7, suddenly, you know, I went to a new school, and suddenly I'm like, right, okay, I need all of the friends. Every single person I speak to, you must be my friend by the end of the day. And it was kind of this collecting kind of Pokemon, collect them all kind of vibe. And that didn't work because I was so tired from just being 15 people. Like I physically was like all these different personalities trying to like jump from this really like energetic person who loves sport, I hate sport, why do I do this, you know, like, to this person that loved movies which I'd never seen before, and I was trying to talk about them. It sounds really strange. And then I was on Facebook, I think year 8. This makes me sound so old. Facebook came out probably around year 6 for me. I don't know, maybe, well, that's when it kind of hit our generation, I guess. But I got it in about year 8, so I was a little bit late to the party. And suddenly I was like adding everyone and messaging everyone. And if you look back, it's just like all like really abbreviated texts. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying now. All the emojis, and you, for some reason, you'd post online, like you do like a little status update. Went to this person's house, had a really good time. And like one person would like it. And looking back, that person, like I went through and I like sorted through them. And that one person definitely liked it as like a meme thing, looking back on it now. But I just wonder why do we have this like need for everyone to like us and everyone to be our friends? I don't, do you guys have any thoughts on like that kind of age? I don't know, like.
Yeah, I think that, like as you said, the move to secondary school is a big move. Like you're top of the pack at primary school, you'd been with those people for like 6 years or something, and you're like pretty well established, and then suddenly you're in a completely new school. It's huge. It's a whole load of new new people, new environment, and they're like they're almost like adult expectations on you by that point. Suddenly you have to manage your own time, your own life, and there's loads more homework. And I think you may have a few people coming from the same school as you, but there'll be a lot from others. And so I think what you're saying about trying to be lots of different people is something that we all kind of experience that temptation throughout life. But I think at moments like that, when you're in a new environment, is particularly tempting. And I just remember this a really good quote I heard from like 15-year-old the other day, who was saying it was a similar experience really. She'd tried to be someone to lots of people, and just decided one day that she was going to stop putting up masks and be herself. And she lost a lot of friends, but then the ones that remained and the ones that she gained then actually were so much deeper and, like you say, more life-giving and meaningful. And she actually got the people who kind of matched who she was, if you know what I mean. And I think a big part of that is I think it's vital to know that God loves us. I mean, we always say that, but it's so important because we need to feel loved in order to for confidence, for our self-worth. And if we don't have God's love, then we look for that from other people. And it's great to have that from other people, but if you've got a constant and unchanging source of love from God, which is better than anything else, then you're kind of I don't know, the desperation in which you might, not desperation, but the kind of the need for other people's approval is suddenly not as big as it might have been. And so it's easier to be yourself and to find those people who you could be good friends with, rather than just kind of the most immediate people that you see.
Definitely, I really love that. And I think in my own life it was really reflective. Like when I started coming to St Swithin's, and really when I joined the youth team a year and a half ago, that was when like certain people dropped out of my life, and then certain others joined or just remained and strengthened. And I think it's because suddenly I like accepted myself, and I was just like, this is who I am, this is what I'm living, or leave, and accept this friendship and work for our friendship. And I think friendship is really tough. Everyone always go, like, a lot of people I speak to are like, yeah, I love friendship. And I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, I just want to be by myself because it's so much effort to be friends. But that's lovely, like that's great. If it's not effort, then what's the point of it? Toby, what do you think is like the easiest and the hardest things about friendships? That's a really tough question. I'm sorry, I just thought of it.
I've just got deep real quick. I think
we're 19 minutes in, we got to.
Yeah. I think one of the best things about friendship is that you can have people around you that you can always go to. So, like, for example, at the moment, I'm on an internship, and I'm on an internship with Sam, who is our expert for the evening. And the interns, it's just like we're one big family, and we support each other no matter what. Like,
still left out.
I know I can talk to those guys about absolutely anything with no criticism whatsoever, and they just accept me for who I am. I think that's one of the best things about friendship, is when people accept you for who you are.
Yeah.
And actually, Charlie Mackesy, who, he said, always try and be the best version of yourself, not the second best version of someone else.
Yeah.
And for me, like, that's always stood out as a thing where, like, you can just look at them, and it's like, actually, that's such a good That's such a good thing to remember. Like, you are always trying to be the best version of yourself, not a second best version of someone else. And that's the same with the mask.
Yeah.
I think in our society, and this is a really negative bit about friendship, is that people take things for granted. People use people to get what they want. And I think actually in our society that people will use people to get what they want, and then they'll just ditch them. It'll be like a bit, and people will feel like a bit of a dog in a handbag, for example, like those accessory dogs that people have. If you have one, I'm not having a go. It's perfectly fine to have one, but I'm just using it as an image just to make it a bit more understandable. Like, sometimes
Well, as humans, we don't want to be a dog in a handbag.
If you want to be a dog in a handbag, that's fine.
That's
but
our top tip for today.
Don't be a dog in a handbag.
It's 2020.
Yeah, I think it is. It's tricky though, because it involves us we have to be vulnerable, don't we? Because we don't know what people are going to think of who we are. And as we kind of reveal more of ourselves, again, we await for people's opinions on that and what they think, and that requires some courage to be able to be vulnerable. If that's just asking, like, can we hang out this week? Do you want to hang out? Or that, that's one level, and that's not always easy to do. Or it might be kind of going, actually, I find this really difficult, or this is a part of me which you haven't seen before. And each time we do that, that requires courage again. And I think that's a hard part about friendship. But I think, as Izzy said, the kind of in some ways, no pain, no gain. What can be difficult also can really deepen and strengthen those friendships. I don't know. Another thing I find hard is that there's lots of things I find hard about friendships, but you can't fix each other's problems. And I don't think that would necessarily be a good thing, but that does often you'd like to be able to do that. And the other thing is that we are so transient nowadays, and we go from primary school to secondary school, and then maybe to a different sixth form, and then off to uni or to an apprenticeship or something. We can keep in touch with people over social media who we've known before. We get to know new people. We can meet friends online, and there's so much potential to have so many friendships. So it can be really difficult to know which friends are our main friends, which ones we kind of stay in touch with, which ones we kind of let drift apart. And I find I'm constantly trying to work out whether I'm trying to keep up too many friendships or I think that's a challenge for me.
Just linking into what you said just then and just before about the whole situation about vulnerability with other friends, for me, I see that as a case of discernment. So if you don't know what discernment means, discernment is a term that's used in the Bible. It's a term which basically just means deciding what's right, trying to pick out what's right, and trying to pick out what is being said or thought or done. It's for me, it's just a discernment of morality, of whether it's morally it's the right person to tell, or whether it's something which you could actually speak to someone else about who'd be a bit more qualified in that. So I wouldn't talk to my ex about current relationship issues that I have going on, because there'll be implications with that and it could get quite messy. Whereas I might talk to my mentor, or I might talk to a really close friend. So I really think that in that negativity of being vulnerable with people all the time, I think being vulnerable with the right people at the right time is so important.
Definitely. I think there's a lot of the friendships that I've had that have kind of gone sour is that they're all about being vulnerable, and they're like, this is really important, I need to be really open, and that's great. But then the second that they're really vulnerable with like literally everyone everyone else who they've been vulnerable with, they're kind of like, well, how do you value me then? And yeah, it is a little bit selfish perhaps. It's like, oh well, that person clearly needs to vent a lot. But then it's like, actually, if you look at it, what is that person that's like telling everyone all their issues and like vent and going to everyone for help, and they're not actually taking the help? What do they actually want out of it? And it just seems to be a bit of like a pat on the back and going, yeah, you're fine. And a bit like really shallow. And I think, yeah, we need to be vulnerable, but yeah, it is definitely discernment of when is the right time to be vulnerable. Who do I want to be vulnerable with? And I think that's actually maybe, you know, with social media and being friends with so many people, it's like, okay, well, who would I be vulnerable with? Who could I go to? And obviously you have different levels of friendships and different friendship needs and purposes, but do you have a group of friends, or like a friend that you can go to at any time and be like, I just need to like vent, and they'll be like, no worries, we're here, let's make a cup of tea, have a Zoom call, let's go. And maybe you have other friends that are just there for fun, and that's absolutely fine. You know, everyone needs this relief. But yeah, it's like, like what is the purpose of each friend or each friend group? And what do they give? Like, are they life-giving? If not, why do you still feel the need to be friends with them? Or why do you still need to be part of that group chat? Obviously, leaving a group chat is slightly awkward because it tells everyone, but how can you distance yourself? And I think, yeah, it's looking for what type of energy do they give you, and is it the right type of energy for you? Before we finish, we were talking before this all started, and I found it really interesting about being extrovert and introverted. I think we have like a fair range of people in this current Zoom call. So we have Toby, who's an extrovert, me, who's both, and then Sam, were you saying you're an introvert? Or did I get the wrong answer?
Yeah, I am more of an introvert. Yeah.
Interesting. So we have everything, everything covered. So Toby, you were saying, how are you dealing with lockdown and being an extrovert?
How am I dealing with lockdown and being
not dealing?
Yeah. So it's there's days where it's great, and there's days where I'm like, no, not feeling this today at all. But that's where I rely on my friends to help me out, and my parents and stuff, because actually, you know what, we're all getting through this together, and Zoom and technology is a great way of keeping in touch. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm just imagining doing this like 80 years ago, for example, like in the 1920s, like
even 10 years ago.
Yeah, like the world would be crumbling. Like we wouldn't be able to contact unless you had MSN. Shout out to the MSN kids out there. You know who you are.
I lived in a sandpit, sorry.
I think it's worth just quickly just kind of mentioning that introversion and extroversion is based on like where you get your energy from. And it's so introverts aren't necessarily shy people who don't like being around other people, but it just means that when you come away from a party or you know, probably chatting with a larger group of friends or people, do you feel energized and pumped, or is it actually when you've spent some time on your own reflecting, reading, or doing something on your own that you feel refreshed? And you know, like you were saying, Izzy, that when you're with a close group of friends, you feel that really energizes you. But when it's a larger group that maybe you don't know as well, then that's more draining. And I think all these kind of things to do with personality are worth bearing in mind about friendship, because I think, you know, having a mixture of personalities as friends is great. But when we think about that kind of golden rule to love others as we love ourselves, I think we also have to think about how they would want to be loved, because it might be different to how we would want to be loved, and that might be personality, or it might be preferences, or whatever. And so yeah, I just think that's worth bearing in mind.
Definitely, I really love that. Yeah, and I think coming to people at the point they're at, and yeah, like, I don't know, like I might get energized by having a really deep conversation with someone, and I do, but like at the same time, someone else, my friend, might not. But we can still be friends because we find other ways of giving each other energy. Yeah, yeah, I think to wrap up before we go on to our Zoom, which Toby is hopefully putting the details for. Thanks, Toby. He's now doing that. Yeah, I think, well, we have a 30-second delay, so it's fine. Yeah, I think, what should we finish on? I think, be reflective in this. I think you use this time of perhaps being less busy for a lot of you to really think about, okay, how do I get my energy? Where does that energy come from? Is it from, and it's not just like physical, it can very much be physical energy, but it's more about friendships. Like, who are the people in my life that I come away from socializing with that I just feel amazing and just feel great? And who are the people that really drain me? And how do I socialize with them, with those people? Am I socializing in the right way? At the moment, it is obviously difficult. We have limited choices, but reflect on when we're not in lockdown. Like, maybe Zoom is the best thing that could have possibly happened to you. Who knows? Because you're going to turn it off and then you're out.
Yeah.
For me, it's one of the worst things, but it's great that we can actually connect with everyone else. Yeah, I think, be reflective. Too much reflection can be bad, but I think use this time to think about who you are, who you want to be, what kind of friend you want to be, what kind of friends do you want to surround yourself with, and can you love them as how you want to love yourself? That thing. Got my words confused. I think, thank you.
And I think what you were saying earlier about having a mixture of friends is really important as well. So it might just be some friends that you hang out with at school during break time, or that you play football with, or whatever. And that's great, and that's fine.
Yeah, they're all so valuable.
Yeah.
Different types.
And I guess the other thing is kind of when Jesus in that verse, when he says there's no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends, that's pretty extreme, but then you realize that he's talking about us. He's talking about his love for us, and so remembering the whole topic of friendship, that this describes our kind of relationship with him too, is something I have to carry on reminding myself.
Yeah. Really, really great discussion. Thank you, Sam, for joining us again. Sam is from Respected. Do check their charity out. They do amazing work. Maybe they've come to your school, who knows? But check out what they do. It's really, really great. I think we're going to go over to the Zoom Hangout now, so do come and join us. If not, we'll see you on Sunday at 11 o'clock for another Zoom Hangout and chat discussion. We'll call it a discussion.
Yes.
Discussion with some chat. If not Sundays, then definitely Wednesdays, 7 o'clock for the live, 7:30 for the Zoom. I'm your host, Izzy. I'm joking. Might drop out. Love you all. Bye.
See you later, guys. Bye.